Good morning, Year 4. It's Thursday the 14th of January and this is your starter. As normal, hit pause on the screen to have a go at these questions, and when you're ready I'm going to move forward onto the answers for these starters. Pay particular attention please to the recap section, it's really going to help you with today's work. Okay, I'm moving on to the answers in 3, 2, 1. Here are the answers to today's starter. So pause the screen, give yourself a mark. Remember, a tick if you got it and a dot if not. Okay, on to today's lesson. So today we're looking at perimeter on a grid. And before we can do anything, we need to know, what does perimeter mean? If you think you know, you can jot it down and write it to me on Teams. I've really enjoyed seeing your answers come in. What do you think the perimeter of this farm is going to be? We've got this little pen here and the sides have been labelled. Okay, when you think you've got your answer, I'm going to move on. So perimeter is the distance around a shape. So not the space in the middle, that's the area, it's how far it is. So for example, if we were putting a fence around something, around the outside of the shape, perimeter is like a fence. We can find the perimeter by adding up all of the sides to see what the distance is altogether. So the perimeter of this shape would be 12, add 5, add 12, add 5. I've put it this way, 12 add 12, 5 add 5, just because it's easier to do doubles, but as long as you've added up all the sides, you'll get the same answer, which is 34. The perimeter of this shape is 34. Today, we're going to be looking at perimeter on a grid. So here's my shape, it's a rectangle, hopefully we know that, and it's on this centimetre squared grid, and I can see it's centimetre squared because it says 1 centimetre up here in the corner. So every little line is worth 1 centimetre. So if I wanted to find the perimeter of this shape, if I wanted to calculate the perimeter of this rectangle, I would need to find all of these sides and add them together. I can do that really easily by just counting up how many squares each side takes up. So count along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And we'll stop there. I've marked off each square as I've gone, so I don't count the same square twice. So the perimeter of this shape is 24. 24 what? We know it's going to be 24 centimetres because our grid is measured in centimetres. I could have also done this by just counting up the sides and then adding them together. So this first side here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I know the opposite side is going to be worth 9 as well because it's a rectangle. If I count up this next side, it's worth 3. So I know the opposite side would be worth 3 as well. And if I add those together, 9 add 3, add 9 add 3, I'll still get 24. So both methods work. Here I've got two shapes. And my question to you is, before I count them all up, do I need to count up all of the squares in both these shapes? If I look at that yellow shape, I will need to count it up. All of the sides there are a little bit different. There are no matching sides. But if I look at the shape on the right, this blue shape, there are going to be some matching sides here. So I only need to count up 1 or maybe 2 sides, depending on whether it's a rectangle or a square. So let's count up this yellow one first. I'm marking off my lines as I go, so I remember not to count the same square twice, making sure I count every side, every edge. And that's 22 centimetres. If you're not sure, you can check it yourself by counting across. If I count this blue square, if I count the top side, I can see that that's 4. I can see that all of the sides are worth 4. So rather than having to count up 4 lots of 4, I can just do 4 times 4, 4 lots of 4, which is 16 centimetres. If I'm not sure, I can double check by counting all of the squares, but this is a really, really quick way to solve this kind of problem when you're dealing with a square or a rectangle, and we'll look at that a little bit more tomorrow. So when I'm drawing a shape, and it's really important we have the same understanding of a shape here, I can specify how wide I want my perimeter to be. For it to count as a shape, it has to have closed edges, so the lines need to meet somewhere. It can't just be one wobbly line. That's not a shape, that's a line. So let's think about how I could make a shape with a perimeter of 12 centimetres. So here's my first shape, and so far I've got 3 squares across, 2 squares down, so I'm on 5, 1 square in, I'm on 6, 1 square down, I'm on 7, 2 squares across, I'm on 9, and 3 squares up to make 12. This is a shape with a perimeter of 12, but it's not the only shape that can have a perimeter of 12 centimetres. Now I'm trying to draw another shape now, and I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across, 2 down to make 8. Ooh, I wonder, am I going to have enough squares to go back the way? Let's see. I've changed my mind. I'm going to go across 4 squares, down 2 squares, because if I want to make a rectangle, I can have 4 on top, 4 on bottom to make 8, 2 at the side, 2 on the other side to make 4, and 8 add 4 is going to be 12. Let's just double check I'm right and count these squares together. So I'm going to put a line through every square to make sure I don't count any twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's got a perimeter of 12. Both of these shapes have got a perimeter of 12, and there's plenty more that I can try and make. So here's another one. This one is a square, so all of the sides are the same, because I know that if I do 3 times 4, I'll get 12. So here I've got one side of 3, 2 lots of 3, 3 lots of 3, 4 lots of 3. And I can make some quite funky shapes as well that will have a perimeter of 12. And again, to double check that I'm correct, we're going to count off all the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I'm happy with that. Okie dokie. Oh, my slide's a little bit stuck. Okay, today you're going to have a go at the quiz on Teams about finding perimeter using a grid. So today is all about counting up those sides, and if you're working with a rectangle or square, realising that you don't need to count up every side because there are going to be some matching ones. If you get stuck, come back to this lesson, and remember it's really important that you pay attention to what you're measuring in. So does your shape have a perimeter of 12 centimetres, 12 millimetres or 12 metres? Make sure you're checking those questions carefully as you go along. Please make sure you spend enough time on the quiz to have a really good go. I have noticed some people are spending lots of time and getting lots of great answers. Some people are spending 2 minutes on a quiz, which is why we're finding it a bit tricky at the moment. If you need any extra help, make sure you post in the Ask a Teacher's channel and I'll work through some of the problems with you. Have a good day. See you later.